I want you to imagine, truthfully, a loser who feels unattractive, and let's call him Jeffrey. Now you see, Jeffrey watches these type of manipulative videos where they're titled, "You're actually more attractive than you think." And he watches them constantly, almost every day. And he doesn't feel any different. And he just wishes that he could actually start feeling attractive and actually realize that he is more attractive than he realizes. And that's when Adonis knocks on Jeffrey's door. Jeffrey opens the door and Adonis grabs him by the neck and drags him to the gym. Jeffrey and Adonis hit their first workout, and then Jeffrey wakes up the next day kind of sore, but Adonis knocks on the door again, and he goes to the gym every single day. And after a year, Jeffrey actually sees a massive difference in his physique, and now he feels more attractive. You see, if you don't already know me, my name's Alfie. I used to watch these type of manipulative videos where like the YouTubers sat there trying to be cute and be like, "You're actually more attractive than you think, and here's some BS reasons why." I would watch all of these videos and I wouldn't feel any different. It's only when I started to do a couple things which I'm going to tell you about that I actually started to feel more attractive and actually started to look into the camera and think, "Damn, I'm sexy." Look into the mirror and think, "Damn, I'm great. I'm just amazing. I'm sick." And hopefully hopefully me telling you what I did helps you out and you can apply that to your own life. So now that I don't feel particularly ugly, I'm going to, it sounds cringe, I'm going to expose the truth of these YouTubers now, but it's like, I'm going to tell you what actually worked for me to feel more attractive. Now, you see, with these manipulative YouTubers that are telling young men like us that we're more attractive than we realize, you know what they're actually doing? They're being manipulative. It's the exact same as, when like a fat girl on Instagram posts something, or like some ugly girl posts something, and then all her friends are in the comments saying beautiful and have got heart eye emojis, and we're sat there, like me and you, we're sat there looking at this and thinking, they're lying, bro. This is how we have to look at these manipulative YouTubers who are telling people like us who feel insecure, who don't feel attractive, that we're more attractive than we realize, and that we don't have to change anything and don't have to put the work in, because that is manipulative. Say it with me, we have to put the work in if we don't feel as attractive as we want to be. So we're not going to do any of that like fake positive, "I'm beautiful, I don't need to change anything about myself," because if you're watching this, it's not true. We need to admit to ourselves when we feel flawed, whether that be we're unattractive or for whatever reason we're not good enough. We need to figure out if this is just some random false limiting belief and that we actually are, or if there's stuff we can actually improve on. Because if these Jeffreys are sat there right now saying like, "Oh, I don't need to change anything about myself," if they're sat there right now with a skinny fat physique, really ugly, like their breath stinks, and "I don't need to change anything about myself," yes you do. First of all, brush your teeth and your tongue, get into the gym, get a better diet, improve skincare, which by the way I'll let you in on a secret. The way I helped clear my skin was just improving my diet. Like, I've literally had people, girls if you're interested, asking me, "Oh, Alfie, what's your skincare routine?" And obviously I'm not going to drop the source on them, but I'll drop it to you because like you're part of the gang in it. So I'm going to drop the game. How I improve my skincare is just like improving my diet, and then like the most basic, like just get a product of like deep cleanser. I rarely like use exfoliator. I probably should use it more, but whatever. I look sick, right? So you can be positive I know I mentioned earlier, like, oh, we gotta be honest, if we're flawed, we gotta admit it. But you can still be positive. You don't have to be there like, damn, yeah, my physique is ugly, I'm worthless, I'm unattractive. You can stay positive about it. And the way I would stay positive about it is, let's say, obviously I look sick, right? But if I didn't look sick, which is impossible, if I didn't look that good and I had a physique I wasn't happy with, I would look in and say, okay, I don't have the physique I'm happy with, but as long as I put the work in, as long as I go to the gym, as long as I do the right actions in the future, I will get this. I will become more attractive over time. So the first thing I'd do if I wanted to become more attractive is I would ask myself, what stuff can I improve on? And most likely, once you ask yourself that question and you look in the mirror, you'll be like, okay, I could probably get a haircut. Obviously, I've already got my haircut. Maybe I could, I don't know, improve my skincare. Maybe I could shave, or maybe I could trim my beard if you have a beard. You know, like, work around. Maybe I could improve my fashion, wear better clothes that actually fit tight against my muscles. Maybe I could just get muscles. Do you know what I mean? You'll figure stuff out. But I'm going to be truthful to you. To a degree, you actually are more attractive than you think. And the reason for this is because you see yourself every day. And so you see how small your willy is. You see you see your flaws more than anyone else, because you are going to be focused on you a lot more than other people are going to be focused on you. Like, for example, I'm probably going to be a lot more focused on the fact that, like, there's a little dot here than you probably didn't even notice until I pointed it out. You see, like, there, and you probably just saw a little bit of stubble there. I noticed that because I'm looking in the mirror constantly, and I'm obviously recording a video where I can see myself, but you didn't notice that. And so that's the point of that, is to show you that we are focused on ourselves a lot more than other people are focused on us, and that applies to everyone. And I know you've probably heard that before and it sounds cringe, but hopefully I've just explained it in like a dry, logical way where it's not like fruity. Yeah, but don't worry about that because everyone's focused on... Shut up. Do you know what I mean? But the thing is, so you see yourself constantly 24/7, but other people only see the image that you present. So other people, like, let's say you go to school and you wear presentable clothing, you've like improved your hair, you've like gone and done your skincare, you like hopefully, like, you know what I'm saying, like, stuff's like, you present to people what you want them to see, whereas you see everything regardless of whether you want to see it or not. So don't be delusional. Just because I told you, you actually are kind of more attractive. Don't think, right, I've not got to put the work in. There is stuff to improve on. And so there's two main things, which I did to actually start feeling more attractive. And the first one is building my aesthetic body. This is, if there was one thing that made me feel way more attractive, it was literally this, building my aesthetic body. There's a specific training style that I did which helped me build my aesthetic physique. The aesthetic physique, if you don't know, is comprised of 6 muscles: the neck, the upper traps. So the upper traps are, oh, you may have heard my mic there. The upper traps are this part. Your upper chest, which is your upper chest. I forgot about the lateral delt. That's basically the side of your shoulder. Your lats, which are, like, if I stand up, like, how do I explain it? It's like your lats are kind of like the wings. So you see how it goes out here? I know it's hard to see, but like, yeah. You see that line there, like a Dorito? It goes in like that. That's your lats, and then your abs. Now, everyone knows what abs are, hopefully. If you don't, type in 6-pack on Google and you'll find out. Obviously, being in shape is going to make you feel more attractive than a guy who is out of shape. If you're fat, you're skinny, or you're skinny fat, you're going to feel less attractive than if you had a body which looked aesthetic. Just because it came to mind. The aesthetic V-taper. That's what we're building. When you train your neck, upper traps, upper chest, blah blah blah, when you train those 6 aesthetic muscles, you build something called the V-taper. And the V-taper in a man is kind of like the hourglass shape in a woman. So you know when like a woman's fit and like they got the hourglass like model physique, this V-taper in a man is like that, in like the hourglass in a woman. So you want to train that, and you'll do that by training your neck, you know what I'm saying. Now if you want to learn more about building the aesthetic body, I've got a whole aesthetic body course. You can go and check that out right now, link is in the description. Now the second thing I did, which was later on, was actually force positive thoughts. And I'm going to tell you like a quick interesting thing that just came to mind. Even with this aesthetic physique, like I'm pretty good looking, right? Even with that, there were still times when I didn't feel attractive and I didn't feel confident. Now, it wasn't the physical, like real world stuff, because I fairly looked the same. I had the same style of clothing. I had the same personality. Well, no, kind of. Yeah, I had the same personality. The only difference was that I had negative thoughts. You see, when you have thoughts that aren't on your side and don't make you feel confident and don't make you feel attractive, of course you're not going to feel as attractive, and that will come out in your personality. So that's why I was like, was my personality the same? And there's a keyword that I mentioned, which was you have to force, or no. And there's a keyword that I mentioned, which is that I forced positive thoughts. You see, when you're not confident and you're feeling negative and you're getting these negative thoughts making you feel like unattractive and uglier, the way I got out of those was that I started to force positive thoughts. There would be times when I would look in like a mirror or somewhere I could see my reflection, and I'd just see like, it's cringe, but like, do you know what I mean? I'd look at myself and I think, yeah, I'm actually pretty good. Maybe I'd flex and I think, yeah, I'm jacked. What the hell? I'm sick. Why was I thinking that I wasn't confident? And then I'll start acting more confident because I'm basically like being my own hype man. That's the way I would think about positive thoughts. Be your own hype man. Force positive thoughts into your brain, which are on your side and are hyping you up, and I think they will make you feel more attractive and confident, because they did for me. The reason I made this is because I'm genuinely tired of the amount of videos I've seen which are like basically manipulating us into like feeling like we don't have to put in the work. And I know that sounds weird, or I hate how you know what I'm saying, but it's like, imagine telling younger Alfie, who didn't feel attractive, who felt like he had the face only a mother could love, oh no, don't worry, you don't have to put the work in, you're actually more attractive than you realize. Imagine how manipulative that was, because remember how I told you it was only until I started forcing positive thoughts and building an aesthetic body, it was only until that point that I started to feel more confident. And imagine I started that earlier. Imagine I started putting the work in earlier. That would have saved me so much time of feeling negative about myself, out looking in the mirror and hating what I saw. And if I could go back in time, I wish he heard these pieces of advice where it was like, yeah, or like in a weird way these YouTubers are lying to you, because these YouTubers profit off of you feeling good, and most people will subscribe to people who make them feel good in the moment, even if in the long term they don't actually have a good outcome. And hopefully you see me as a person who isn't just trying to make you feel good. Hopefully like you do feel good, but I want you to leave this video with some advice in your toolbox, so hopefully you can actually go out into the real world and start feeling more attractive, because I just hate how, like, so many YouTubers are basically just manipulating their audiences without actually helping them, and I want to put a change to that. And so if you want to help me put a change to that and start actually bringing educational content that helps young men, hit subscribe right now. Safe.